Hi, good evening, Joshua Tan. Pause for Christ today hosting a show. Uh, Today, the story behind the book. And today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Clement Heng, who is no stranger to the Malaysian book scene, where he single-handedly got himself into the Malaysian Book of Records for the most number of books sold for charity by an individual. Let us give our applause to welcome Mr. Clement Heng. All right. So over to you, Mr. Clement, to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Pastor Joshua, for having me today for this review of the books. This book was published in 2019 on my birthday, and on my 60th birthday. I took the opportunity to launch the book after my retirement, and actually during my 30 years in corporate, I have read a lot of self-development books, and one of the books that actually inspired me, benefited me the most is The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. I think I benefited it a lot. Not only that one book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, but I also bought another few books for him, The Greatest Secret in the World, The Greatest Miracle in the World. And of course, I read the most is The Greatest Salesman in the World. It's sort of another Bible for me. And I read it every day for the self-development. I find that his book is really benefiting me, especially I do it now, I act now, those things. While the book has been in the market for about 60 years now. So after my retirement, I thought since that book benefited me a lot, so I decided to write it in the modern version and in the Malaysian version. And thus, the book is targeted to the employees and also the salespeople. So last time, while I was in corporate, I was in charge of few thousand agency members, and I think that, and also a few hundred employee. And I find that one of the biggest challenge of the employee or the salesperson is the productivity. And because of that, I choose this book to name it as Be the Most Productive Employee and Salesperson. And I believe with my experience that I gathered and put in this book, anyone who read the books will be able to benefit from it. And most significant, of course, is you can improve your productivity immediately. Pastor Joshua, actually, I wrote another book. My first book was How to Be a Productive Millionaire Employee. But however, that is financial books, Those are the books that you, in order to achieve your goal, you actually have to practice it, or have to do it for years, for decades, But I find that the books that I just launched on my 60th birthday, if we apply it, it can be benefited immediately. So in the book itself, there are 10 scrolls or 10 habits that we are supposed to cultivate. So those are the reason why I published my books. I was inspired by the Og Mandino.
I see. All right. Yeah, no wonder you are called the Og Mandino of Malaysia. All right. How did this book come to existence? I mean,
Right. You see, since I benefited from this Og Mandino 10 scroll, and I have the idea of the biggest challenge in workplace is increased productivity. Now, actually, Brian Tracy have actually said this word. In most of the workplace, the productivity level of the employees is only 50%. Right. Another 50% is wasted, is unproductive. So the challenge is, how do we encourage the employee to be more productive at the workplace? So these are the things that I actually, the title, the chapter, the scroll that I wrote in the book is aimed, targeted to help the employee and salesperson to increase their productivity immediately at work. Right? For example, one of the chapters is that I will act now or will act now. Why this chapter? Why this chapter? I will say this chapter is the most important chapter in this book. The reason is because I think we human beings have the bigger challenge of every time we keep procrastinate. That's the nature of the human being, right? But there is also a habit. However, if we cultivate a habit of everything we get it done now, do it now, do it now, and immediately, if we cultivate these habits, our productivity will increase tremendously. Right.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Pause Malaysia, the book, what do you call that? The story behind the book. And this Pause is an association of poets, authors, writers, and songwriters of Malaysia. Today we are featuring Clement Heng. Mr. Clement Heng, who has broken the Malaysia record of the most number of books sold for charity by an individual. Now is we have this very great pleasure to have him on stage today. And I would like to ask this question: how actually long did you take this to write this book?
Well, the idea was mooted in my mind for many, many years ago. Even before I retired, I thought there must be some guideline for the new employees or the existing employee on how to improve their productivity at the workplace. However, because of the busyness in the workplace, I couldn't put that into writing. So after a few years of my retirement, I somehow decided to write it. And I still remember the idea, the urge, inspiration from the Lord came so strongly when I was in having a holiday in China. That was on the 14th of August in 2018. And during the past where everybody was asleep, I got a very strong urge to write down all the chapters that I'm supposed to write. So I wrote down when everybody was sleeping in the past there, and I wrote down all the 10 chapters that title of the chapter that I want to write. And incidentally, I wrote all the 10 chapters, and actually along the way, I wrote it about 1 year. It took me about 1 year to complete it. And after I complete, actually I throw away one chapter and replace with another chapter. So the original idea download from the Lord is 10 chapters, but along the way, I changed only one chapter. So those are the things that it took me a years, but ideas that accumulated in the books is 30 years, I would say. That is my lifetime corporate experience that I share in the book. And I'm glad that my children are benefiting a lot from this book, the idea from this book as well, because I share with them verbally while we are talking about, while we are having dinner, chit-chatting. So I use the book and share with them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fantastic book. This is the book, right? In it can it is a very powerful book. All right. May I know where the book can be found or can be purchased? Clement Heng, Clement.
Right. Initially, I launched the book for the charity, as you mentioned just now, and thank God, surprisingly, I got the Malaysian book or record for the most number of books sold for charity by the individual, and it was sold 1,000 over copies. And later, I sold it in this popular. That was sold also 1,000 plus books, and now it is only available in Lazada and this Shopee. Yeah.
That's wonderful. The Shopee and Lazada link will be given because it is a recorded show. It will be put inside the YouTube illustration there. Well, wonderful. So, any questions from the floor to Mr. Clement Heng before we wrap up, as it is a 15 minutes concise story behind book. Any question from the floor?
Well, Pastor Joshua, I want to share
Yeah, sure.
that one common factors or secret to have a high productivity at workplace is about our habits.
True,
It's
true. I
really
agree.
about habit. I give you an example. Uh, I met a colleague. Uh, he was so successful in his corporate. At the age of 30 years old, he's already reporting to CEO directly. And I observed him. The reason why he became so successful climbing the ladders in the corporate so fast is because he have a very powerful habits that he practice. He get the things done immediately. For example, we go to the training, to the this meeting, and during the meeting, we will jot down the items that we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to implement, kind of thing. But this guy, the moment he got the things that he do, he will forward to the staff immediately. And after our meeting is done, he actually reported to the boss. He said all whatever item is assigned is done already. So before the meeting is done, he get the things done already. So it's so powerful that he get the things done immediately, and he worked very, very fast, very, very fast. So it's not because that he was born work fast and do it now, but because he trained himself to have that habit of doing it now. All right. So that is very powerful to have a good habit. And to cultivate a good habit, we must continue to uh, motivate ourselves and to cultivate a good habit on the daily basis. That is the key thing in order to uh, increase the productivity at the workplace. And once we get it done, our productivity will be shoot up very fast, very high, and we will benefit um, in many areas. We will get very motivated. We will have feel very satisfied, and of course, our career will uh, grow much faster. In our career, we will grow much faster. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Clement, because I also have this similar thought, but I term it as action TNT. Action today, not tomorrow. It's a
Right.
similar kind of concept with Clement, which is very, very true. Procrastination is the one that kills us, all right, most of the time. Procrastination, yeah. All right. So now this leads me to the yeah conclusion for the matter. All right, as these books have this is your second book. May I know, are you intention, or are you trying to write another book, which I believe will be the next best seller?
Yes, I'm writing another new book now. Perhaps a tentative title that I can share with all of you is we are talking about the health. Uh, the title is Can We Live Healthily Till 100?
Wow, that's
Yeah,
another wonderful. Dr.
yeah.
Mega will be will be I'd like to like him to share more maybe later. Yeah.
And I already got my friend to sponsor for this book, and the amount of sponsor or donation for this book is already more than what we collected from the first book. The first book we collected 50 over thousand, and probably my friend have committed to support this event, and it's already more than the previous one. Thank God for that. That we hopefully it will be able to launch early of next year. Yeah, I'm
Wonderful.
targeting early of next year.
Yeah, wonderful. There you are, the tradition of been doing the best for the Lord, and He's been giving it the momentum, fulfilling the momentum, and continue the momentum. And I believe He will be yet another bestseller. Well, with that, we end our show today, and don't forget, another 2 weeks time, Pastor Lim will come on air to tell his side of the story. With that, we thank you very much for all. And I would like to, before end this, any questions from the floor before we end this for today? All right. If no, then thank you very much for tuning in. See you again in the next 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.